Welcome to Mindset Mondays, the bite-sized podcast designed to build a happier, healthier headspace. Think of it as a learning snack for your morning commute to set your week up right. I'm Mark Holloway, and today we're talking about something that sounds like a strength, but often acts like a hidden weakness. Perfectionism. That voice in your head that says, it's not ready yet. It could be better. What if it's not good enough? And while it might feel like it's pushing you toward excellence, more often it's quietly holding you back. Perfection isn't about doing things well. It's about tying your self-worth to how flawlessly you perform. Psychologists often define it as the tendency to set excessively high standards and be overly critical of oneself. But here's the key distinction. Healthy striving says, I want to do my best. Perfectionism says, if it's not perfect, I failed. And that's a completely different mindset. So how do you identify perfectionism? Well, you might be struggling with perfectionism if you procrastinate because you're afraid of not doing something perfectly. You struggle to finish projects. You replay mistakes in your head over and over. You avoid trying new things where you might fail. You feel like nothing you do is ever good enough. One of the biggest signs, you're harder on yourself than you are on anyone else. Perfectionism creates an impossible standard. But here's the truth. Perfectionism doesn't exist. It's not a destination, it's a moving target. Even when you reach a goal, perfectionism shifts the goalposts. That wasn't as good as it could have been. Other people did it better. Research from clinical psychology shows that perfectionism is strongly linked to anxiety, burnout, depression, low self-esteem, because you're constantly operating under pressure without ever feeling satisfied. Perfectionism doesn't just affect how you feel, it affects how you act. It leads to inaction. You just don't start in the first place. Overthinking. You second guess everything. Avoidance. You stay in your comfort zone. And over time, you don't just miss opportunities, you miss growth. Don't worry though, you're not alone in this. Even some of the most successful people in the world have openly struggled with perfectionism. Take Emma Watson. She's spoken about the pressure to be perfect, not just in acting, but in a public image. She eventually learned to embrace imperfection and focus on authenticity instead of flawlessness. Or Steve Jobs. He was known for extreme perfectionism, obsessing over tiny details. While it contributed to Apple's success, it also caused delays, stress, and conflict. Even he had to learn that shipping something great matters more than endlessly chasing perfection. And then there's Brené Brown, who has done extensive research on vulnerability and shame. She describes perfectionism as a 20-ton shield we carry around thinking it will protect us, when in fact it's the thing that's really preventing us from being seen. Her solution? Let go of perfection and embrace vulnerability. Perfectionism isn't about high standards, it's about fear. Fear of judgment, fear of failure, fear of not being enough. And here's the mindset shift that changes everything. Shift from perfect to progress. Instead of asking, is this perfect? Start asking, is this moving me forward? Because progress creates momentum, and momentum creates results. Let's make this practical. Here are a few tools you can start using today. Number 1, set good enough standards. Before starting a task, define what done looks like. Not perfect, done. For example, a workout doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to happen. A project doesn't need to be flawless. It just needs to be completed. Done is better than perfect every time. Of course, you're going to try your best, but just get it done. Number 2, use time limits. Give yourself a fixed amount of time to complete something. Because perfectionism thrives in open-ended timelines. When you limit time, you force action. Number 3, take imperfect action. Deliberately do something before you feel ready. Send the email, post the content, start the project. This builds a new belief. I can act without being perfect. Number 4, reframe failure. Perfectionism says, failure is proof I'm not good enough. Growth mindset says, failure is data. Every mistake gives you information, and information helps you improve. For more on this, check out episode 1 of the podcast. Number 5, talk to yourself like you would a friend. If your friend made a mistake, you wouldn't tear them down, so why do it to yourself? Replace "I'm not good enough" with "I'm learning." Imagine two people. Person A waits until everything is perfect before they start, so they rarely do. Person B starts messy, learns, adapts, improves, iterates. Who wins long term? Always person B. Because success isn't built on perfection, it's built on that iteration. Perfectionism promises safety, but it delivers stagnation. Letting go of it doesn't mean lowering your standards. It means shifting your focus from flawless to forward. So this week's challenge. Pick one thing you've been overthinking or delaying and take imperfect action on it today. Not tomorrow, today. Not when it's perfect, today. Because your life doesn't change when things are perfect. It changes when you move forward. Remember, progress, not perfection. Forward, not flawless. If this episode resonated with you, share it with someone who might need it. And remember, you don't need to be perfect to build a good and meaningful life. You just need to keep going. See you next Monday.